Fun fact, I didn't have a PC until I was almost a teenager. Before then, I had an Atari. To this day, this screen is both beautiful and mysterious despite having the depth of a pancake. There are all kinds of weird quirks to it. You could up the resolution to medium, which doubled the horizontal resolution but kept the vertical the same, and reduced the colours from 16 to 4. Just like my version, high is greyed out. I think that it was something like 640 by 480 pixels, and it could only run in black and white. It did look beautiful though. Anyway, I'm showing you this today because I'm revisiting one of the great mysteries. I was a well-behaved little boy, but I remember stumbling across a very dark and sinister secret in a game called Judge Dredd. You know how when you're young, clubs and stuff seem like magical, mysterious places filled with people ready to do the moonwalk? This game had the same feel. I didn't play it that much. I remember it was boring and full of really fat people. Kind of like clubs really. I still haven't watched Judge Dredd, but I assume it's super dark and way too grown up for me because of this Easter egg that I'm about to show you. It starts here. There's a strange login screen before you started playing, and if you logged in as Kylie, you'd stumble across some odd Easter eggs. I love stuff like this. It claims to have 64 megabytes of RAM available, which back then was an unthinkable amount, but today seems a fairly short-sighted prediction of futuristic computers. I believe I had half a meg in my Atari. My dad's had 4 megabytes, but he kept that in the loft and never used it. Let's log in as Kylie and see what happens. You might ask how I found out about the Kylie login. Most of the games I had for the Atari had been cracked by people like the Midway boys. They would magically fit several full games on a single disc using magical colourful compression technology. They'd also crack the games, revealing all kinds of cool cheats and Easter eggs that were probably hidden from the proper version. What you're seeing here is an image file that I found online, but amazingly it's the exact same one that I used when I did it for real. Firstly, I'll show you some cool pictures of Kylie. I like to think that this was done by a maverick programmer, but since it includes proper images and sounds, I assume it took up most of the 900 kilobyte floppy disk that the game was on. Surely the entire development team must have got a bit suspicious when half the disk magically disappeared. Not many games have pictures like this because of memory limitations. I remember that some games would have a 10-second animation and then would require you to switch to another floppy disk for the actual game. There's nothing online about this Easter egg. It really is the dark side of the seemingly innocent Atari games that I played. But these pictures are nothing when compared with what I found just afterwards. Bear in mind that I was a sheltered, good little boy who hadn't been tainted by the internet. I would pray for forgiveness for even typing a swear word. Imagine my surprise when I typed K-sequence and found this. And that's it. Back then I thought "and Alfie knows" or something was a really advanced swear word only known by grown-up people like the ones found in nightclubs. For all these years I wonder what he was actually saying. Turns out he's saying Alfie Noakes. There's not much about this guy online. There's a song called it that seems fairly offensive, so I guess it's related. If anybody knows more, then please let me know. And that concludes a mystery from my childhood. Thank you for sharing it with me.